Okay. Crystals that are associated with it: quartz, amethyst, ruby, onyx, tiger's eye, rose quartz. There's just a couple. Now, what's effective with that is when you meditate, any place where you can get crystals, what I like to do, what I like to do, depending on what polarity I'm working in the body, keep them in your hands while you meditate. And you will feel, because remember, crystals house energy.
Yes, they do.
Right? Now, you hear this term in a lot of our doctrine, the Crystal City. People don't really know what that is, though. They say, yeah, the mothership. You hear Farrakhan talking about it, the mothership. You hear extraterrestrials, UFOs. Well, first of all, if you saw extraterrestrial craft, everything people describe is something that I can trace to here. Because if you heard a sound, it's not extraterrestrial. It's something that the military has here. That's number one. Number two, the reason why they call it the Crystal City is because when you study the planet, you are going to find out, when you study this planet, there's 172, well, actually goes to 144 up to 172 magnetic grids on the planet. These highly intelligent beings, which are just your ancestors, are able to access each magnetic grid and use the energy from the grid to intergalactically travel. There's no sound. They're able to use that because this craft that they claim, they call the mothership, is, the engine is literally crystals. It's not a motor engine. It uses natural energy from the sun to propel itself. Okay? Now I'm telling you that because this is the same thing with you. That's a connection to you. You can turn your body into the crystal ship or the mothership. You can raise your vibration up and leave your body if you wanted to astrally travel. See, the thing is, again, they use that story to focus this happening externally outside yourself when this can happen within yourself. So you can astrally travel at will if you raise your vibration and your frequency up. How do you do it? By working with the chakras, mantras, chanting. If we played certain drums and rhythms, we can do spiritual work on individuals right now if we wanted to, and draw that presence and that energy out by way of sound, vibration, and tone. Very important to understand. Okay. All right. And then just to finish it off, a brief affirmation one could use. You know, again, it's always more effective when you create your own. I'm just going to read the brief one that's in this book. Again, there is no right or wrong way. You create your own personal spiritual path that works for you. There's not one particular right or wrong way. So here's a brief affirmation. This would also help activate it. You could say something: through incarnation may spirit be brought into matter. Now, because you're dealing with the physical. Through rootness may the force be recharged in exchange. We acknowledge wholeness and seek to gain and to reflect acceptance. So just a basic affirmation one can say to activate the thought. Because remember, real magic is manipulation of the subconscious mind. That's all you're doing. That's real magic. So that's what I mean when I say being an alchemist and a black magician. Not slitting goats' throats and all that crap. That's all the European aspect of it. And again, anything that we had that was sacred was always taken and destroyed. Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism. Buddha was a black man. He, you know, contrary to belief, he wasn't a mixed Asian man that he's so propagated as today. He was a nappy-headed, dark-skinned black man. And remember, the Dravidian culture was closely connected to Africa. There was no difference. Because remember, they literally sailed over. This is why I say when you hear the Nation of Islam say the original black Asiatic black male, I asked them to explain that. I know what it means, but I want an explanation on it because I know the original Asiatic black man, that Dravidian culture, they were originally African. Because the Indians you see today in India, that's not the original. We know they're mixed with Indo-Aryans, Africans, and Caucasians. We know that. But what I'm trying to say is, when we say these statements, we need to affirm what they really mean. Not just to say them because it sounds heavy. Yeah, I'm the original Asiatic black. It sounds heavy, brother, but break that down for me. Give me some clarification on that. Because if I hear that today, when I think of Asia today, I'm not thinking of the original black man. So you need to explain, what do you mean? You understand? So that's the root chakra. Anybody have any questions? Well, I don't know if we're gonna get through all of them tonight, but we're gonna move it on. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was making a comment.
I'm gonna finish that, Sophia.
On the polarity of the chakra, these blood sacrifices. A lot of these spiritual pantheons and the practice. One of the things that people really realize that when you kill an animal, really the animal is making the sacrifice.
Correct.
Not really you. So we are not really going through or living through that experience to acquire anything. That's why it really doesn't really make much sense. Or it's not as effective. But you know, they work for a little time and then they're there because that animal is what will give up its life to provide that energy.
Right.
We didn't do anything. So that's one thing. What my understanding is like, for us to acquire certain experience, we have to make some sacrifice in one way.
That's right.
That's kind of the whole thing.
And I'm glad you said that. And that brother back there, Brother Mike, we've walked through the Yoruba path for several years, and we can tell you this from doing multiple animal sacrifices over the years. And you name it, from every animal you can think of. It got to the point where we came to the realization of kind of what he's saying. Now, they'll tell you that the negative energy is offered up into the blood of the animal and the animal's taken up. But like Brother Mike said, in essence, it's not really you making the sacrifice. And in essence, you're going to find out there's certain beings or energy that you work with that require those blood sacrifices. And they need that sacrifice to connect them from the physical and the spiritual realm. Now, even when you go into your Bible, I always ask religious people, when you read the Old Testament, it's a very gory book when you read it. Regardless if you're a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim, you're tied into the monotheistic faith. It's all the same thing. There's no difference. You just have differences of traditions. But when you read the Torah, the first 5 books of Moses, man, you had goats, bulls, calves, chickens, blood being spilled on the altar. So the question we should be asking ourselves, what kind of God is requesting all this blood? And then it even says in your Bible, the aroma was pleasing. The aroma of the burning flesh was pleasing to the Creator. You need to ask yourself, what energy are we working with? Now see, and then these are the same religious people that will turn around and condemn and judge people that practice Santeria or Yoruba. They say, oh, they're devil worshippers. They sacrifice animals. Well, you come from a tradition that sacrificed and killed every animal. Man, when you go into the book of Song of Solomon and the second book of Kings, man, they were killing hundreds and hundreds of, and slaughtering hundreds of animals after they came back from the slaughter and war. Okay? So what I'm saying is, you need to be conscious of that when pointing the fingers at other people. So, and Brother Mike brings up a good point. We came to that realization, like, in essence, it's pointless. You understand? And if that's your thing, that's your thing. But at the end of the day, if you gotta deal with a deity that needs blood for it to acknowledge you, now the question is, does that deity need you more than you actually need it? Think about it for a minute. Because again, it's the same thing if you're working with, if you're dealing with the system of Egun worship, you'll find that there's always physical things affiliated with it: cigars, rum, food offerings, coffee. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. That's because these are energies that need physical things to connect them to this realm. It keeps them alive. It keeps them connected here. And you're going to find out a lot of those spirits are spirits that don't want to make the transition. They want to stay here. And the way they get kept alive is by you propagating them. I'm telling you this from experience, not from reading about it. Okay, and some of you might have that experience in this room. I don't know. But I'm telling you this, not from reading a book, because we went through it for years. And then it's always they want something else. You need to do this offering. You need to do this cleansing. You got to take this bath. You need to go down to the river and do this for Oshun. You need to get this head cleansing for Obatala. You need to do it. So we're back to servitude again. We're back to constantly serving something. And you know, I hear people say dumb stuff to me like, oh, if I don't light this candle for Oshun, Oshun's going to be mad at me. Really? You really? That's religion. You really believe? Now, I always ask, there's many paths of Oshun, so what are we talking about? Because the path that I have of Oshun is an old warlock and a magician that lives down by the river. And she wears faded clothing. Everybody thinks Oshun is just sexuality and abundance and pleasure. That's not what Oshun just deals with. There's a magical and a warlock aspect to Oshun. So when you say you're Oshun, do you know the path of Oshun? And remember, there's polarity in that, because whatever Orisha you're crowned, you have the counterpart is the opposite gender. So if you're crowned, if the head is ruled by the female, which mine is, then you have a male counterpart that balances out, which in my case is Ogun. I'm just using the Aruba. So Oshun, Ogun. There's a science in that now, because you can't have one without the other. So all these people talking about you know, propagating this doctrine now, the black woman is God and black woman this. You need both. Okay? So I'm clear on that. And a lot of brothers are propagating that doctrine to prep the woman to get in their pants. Let's keep it real. Because I tell brothers, if you believe that, where's all your female teachers? How come there's no female teachers on the House of Consciousness doing lectures? That's all I want to know. So don't sit there and tell me the black woman's God, the black woman this, the black woman that. I don't see any black women. So why are we saying this now? That's the question. We know the black woman was here first physically. We're not denying that. But when we take it outside of the physical realm, you need both polarities in order for this to work correctly. I use the Yoruba as an example because you have a male and a female, always. And anybody that's initiated in it knows that. And I know my brother back there can verify that. Not speaking, again, just from my opinion, I'm speaking from experience, and there's other people here to validate that too. Any other questions on the root chakra? All right. Let's go on to the sacral chakra, which is going to be the next chakra.
What's the Sanskrit name for that chakra?
The Shakti for that specific chakra?
Yeah, the Sanskrit
name. For the root chakra?
No, for the pleasure chakra.
What do you mean? For
second chakra.
The sacral. We'll get into it now. I can't pronounce it offhand, but I'll pull it up here for you. And remember, when you're saying the word chakra, that's Sanskrit. That's Sanskrit. So when you're saying the word chakra, just know we're just saying it's an energy center. That's all it is. What it does, these are points of activation within the body that connect us to these realms. The same thing, you'll find each deity and each culture is connected to each chakra. Okay, you'll find also when working with the motioning of the planets and nature, this is all connected. It's all intertwined when you're dealing with this. All right, but let's talk about that sacral chakra now. Get to that page. All right. Okay, the location. The petals are approximately 2 fingers below the navel. Okay, that would be by your belly button. The stem corresponds to the sacrum area of the spine. Okay, this is important to understand. Developmental age for this chakra is 3.5 to 8 years old. Okay. Now I'm giving you the ages because when you're raising children, you should know this. Because at those developmental stages, as you're raising your child, these are the areas of the chakras you should be focused on in that developmental stage. I can attest to this. I got a 23-year-old and I have a 2-year-old. And let me tell you something. My 2-year-old, I kid you not bragging, I'm proud as shit of him. This kid can read. He's fascinated with cars. He can see any car on the road, see the symbol, and tell you every car. He'll go Isuzu, Lexus, Kia, Cadillac. Don't ask me why. There's something with cars, but there's a connection there. But I'm telling you, if you do it, it's very effective. You can just see the motor skills. And we know these kids being birthed nowadays, there's a different breed. These aren't ordinary children no more. These are warriors. And they either go one route. They either become highly intelligent, spiritual, or they become the most viral, wicked thing you ever seen on the earth. And they resort to so physical, but it's a different breed. They're killers by nature. If you piss them off the wrong way, it's a whole different breed. And this is a reality. We need to know that when raising them because now we need to take that energy and make it work as a positive. This is why you'll see most kids that are troublesome kids is because they just haven't been given the guidance. That's all. They're not bad kids. If there's no developmental people there, male and female, to guide them, Lil Wayne becomes their hero. Hip-hop and gangster rap music becomes their teacher. They go out into the streets and they look at some of the old school thugs and gangsters, and this is what they think. This is how that they're supposed to act, behave.